friend. You're listening to The Sustainable Bodyworker, the podcast for massage therapists who want to grow thriving, purpose-led businesses without the burnout. Here we talk about nervous system aligned business strategy, pricing that makes sense, client work that doesn't deplete you, and how to build a career that actually supports your life. I'm your host, Gretchen Pop, massage therapist, mentor, educator, and recovering overachiever. Let's get into it. Hey friend, today's episode is something really special, especially if you've been curious about how my methodology helps practitioners in a different kind of a way than the typical business coaching and systems tend to. And I've spoken about that a lot through my own lens and my own opinion, and I've shared my personal story quite a bit on how I managed to create massive time freedom in my own life. If you missed last week's episode, definitely go and give that a listen. Because today I'm going to be sharing some stories from real members inside the Sustainable Bodyworker membership, practitioners who took a leap toward their version of success and found so much more than just systems or strategies. And yes, they used my systems and strategies. There's plenty of that inside my offerings, but what made these systems actually work was the fact that we started by finding alignment, finding clarity and confidence, and a whole new way of doing business that actually feels good. And it was then that those systems did anything beneficial for them in the long term. And I want to be super clear before we dive in. These stories aren't just meant to be inspirational. They are evidence that it's possible to do business your way, to build something solid and sustainable, even if you don't feel ready, even if you've been burned before, even if you're feeling doubt, and even if there's a whole list of logical reasons why you think you can't do this. I'm saying all of this because I've been there too. I know what it's like to have big dreams for your life and business, but feel like the day-to-day is draining every last bit of energy and belief out of you. You might wake up one morning with invigoration and a whole checklist of things you can do to take a step toward those dreams, only to have a hell of a day managing client cancellations, or an employee not showing up to work, or a leak in your business's ceiling ruining all of your equipment, causing you to realize that every second of this process is an uphill battle you don't even want to try fighting anymore. I know what that's like. I also know what it's like to try and follow all of the advice, to pay for the coaches, to make it look like it's working on the outside, and still feel completely miserable underneath it all, even when it's all technically working out well on paper. That was me for 11 years, growing my clinic in Colorado, and I learned the hard way that success without alignment is just another trap. So what these members and I have discovered is that the only real success that matters is the kind that reflects your values, your vision, your joy. And that's such a different picture for every single one of us. For some people, it might look like scaling and hiring and creating big income months. For others, it's a simple solo practice that allows them to be present in their garden on their off time, spending time with their family, living a slower kind of abundance. Or maybe it's a version that's somewhere in the middle of that spectrum. There is no one-size-fits-all model here. But what every story you'll hear today does have in common is this. Each practitioner got brave enough to look inward, to stop doing things out of fear or urgency or someone else's definition of success, and to start building from a lens of purpose, from alignment, and from their own inner compass. So as you listen, I invite you to see yourself in these stories, to feel into what's possible, not just for them, but for you too. Because when one of us breaks the mold, it opens the door for so many more to follow. And if you're ready to start walking that path for yourself, I'd love to invite you into the Sustainable Bodyworker membership. Whether you are someone who just completed the Sustainable Success Blueprint with us this past weekend, and maybe you want continued support, or if you're feeling the pull to finally do business differently, this is the space where growth actually gets to feel good. Inside the membership, you'll find the tools, coaching, community, and mindset support to help you build a practice that's profitable and aligned with the life that you want. So you can find the link to explore the membership in the show notes, and feel free to follow me on Instagram or Facebook for behind the scenes support, member stories, and real talk about what it means to build a sustainable business as a body worker. All right, let's dive into these powerful stories. First up, let me introduce you to Adrienne. Adrienne came to me with a vision, a really great, meaningful idea for an online course that had the power to help so many people. But like so many massage therapists and wellness practitioners, she was about to do what we're all taught to do: Go build it alone, cross her fingers, and hope people would sign up. No launch strategy, no validation, just a whole lot of effort and heart poured into something with no guarantee it would ever land. It's a story I have seen play out 100 times. Practitioners, and not even massage therapists, but just people who want to create online courses in general, with so much wisdom and so much to give, working backwards without a proven framework, then feeling completely defeated when the results don't reflect the effort. But it doesn't have to be that way. Inside the Sustainable Bodyworker membership, Adrienne learned how to flip that whole script. She followed the process I teach to clarify her offer, validate it in real time, and enroll her first round of students before she ever built a single module. And what happened next? Not only did she launch with more students than she expected, she now has an online course that she can sell on autopilot, and she's already working on her next level program to support her students even further. And just to make this even more inspiring, she did all of this while navigating postpartum life with her first baby, easing back into hands-on work on her terms, and building a business that supports her family's future. Here's Adrienne in her own words.
I was just getting off maternity leave and I was just getting back to work and kind of like, everything had changed. I wasn't able to like work the same hours or the more flexible hours. And I had a kid to take care of and daycare and this, that, and other things. So I was trying to think of ways to like expand my business. I didn't know about you at the time. So I kind of had that. I was just going to like put a course together and throw it up and like hope for the best. But I started poking around on some of the massage therapy related Facebook groups I was in and asking if anybody had done this, like made a course and put it out there. And like someone responded and they're like, I worked with Gretchen and she was awesome. And started looking into like what you had to offer. And I was like, I think I maybe better do this program and like go at this with like some sort of structure as opposed to just like winging it. I think my confidence around this has like definitely shifted, like even like I said, like just building that reputation and like building up that expertise right when I started, like kind of engaging with people made me realize like, oh yeah, I am kind of an expert in this, making me realize that like, oh yeah, I do know more than I think I do, and I do have something valuable that I can offer to other massage therapists. And I feel like other things are kind of like falling together, like as it's been going, as I've been putting it out there as well. So like, here's the next phase that you're going to get into with this entire project. Even with like just being able to like put videos out there and do the live thing and kind of show up on these different like social media platforms. Like I think you've really helped like build my confidence with all that. I think I felt pretty inspired. Like I had more success with my beta launch than I anticipated. Because I was totally thinking like, oh man, if I get 3 or 4 people to sign up for it, like that'll be great. I'll record it and put it out there anyway. But there was like 13 people who took my first course, and I'm like, okay, that number blew my expectations out of the water. So that was very inspiring. Like I love how flexible your program is. It's kind of like a month to month sort of thing versus like here's one price and you got 3 months and you got 3 months to like figure this whole thing out, and then like I'm done. Versus just, kind of being able to do it month to month and be able to go at my own pace, which was super nice for like the phase of life I was in. I think my kid was 4 months old when I started working with you. And that totally like fit into what you had to offer. I didn't have this like expiration date that I needed to get everything done by. Otherwise, I totally would have lost everything. There's so many different components, but like what I've been able to get out of it has been very valuable. So thank you so much for your support. It's been wonderful. Like I said, I would have just been winging this whole process. And if I had just thrown something up online without kind of the whole process that you presented, probably would have killed my confidence a little bit, and I would be sitting here like working on part 2.
So, if you're dreaming of creating a course or maybe already have an outline for one sitting on your Google Docs that's never been launched, this kind of strategy and support is waiting for you inside the membership. Head to the link in the show notes to join while doors are still open. Next, let me introduce you to Allie. Allie wasn't new to success. She had already built a thriving massage practice once before, but after moving to a new state, she found herself starting over from scratch. And even with all her experience, the rebuilding felt heavy. She was pouring so much of herself into her business, and it just wasn't clicking the way it used to. It's such a common story, actually. We think, I've done this before. Why isn't it working now? But the truth is, different seasons of life require different strategies and different types of support. Inside the Sustainable Bodyworker membership, Allie and I worked closely together to shift both the practical and the energetic pieces of her business. She started by automating her systems, which I teach a very specific process for. This made it so that client acquisition and management could stop eating up all of her time and energy. That alone gave her more space to start thinking big. But the real magic happened when she dove deep into the bigger impact process and got crystal clear on the transformation she was most excited to offer her clients. And while all of that was amazing on paper, what truly unlocked the next level for Allie was the inner work. We coached through some really powerful moments together: mental blocks, fears, doubts, things that had nothing to do with scheduling software or client funnels or business in general, but everything to do with what she believed she was allowed to have. And that's what changed everything. From there, she stepped confidently into leadership and used the employer's guide, which is included at the growth tier of the membership and above, to hire her first therapist. And that step alone completely shifted the trajectory of her business. What came next wasn't just growth, it was light years of expansion. Here's Allie in her own words.
I had just moved to a new city. I had my massage practice in New York for about 3 years. When I moved to Charlotte, I had really no friends, no family. So I was really starting bare bones, and that was a little scary for me. So I remember meeting you. You were doing an introduction in one of the groups about one of your programs, and I just felt like you were very authentic. You were very true to yourself. And I really liked that. I did the course with you. I was struggling, not necessarily struggling to build clientele in Charlotte, but it was very slow. This was my only job. So I was getting a little bit nervous, but I was also burnt out from moving, trying to find new clientele. And I was seeing that a lot physically. And you started talking a lot about building more of a sustainable practice. And that was something that I really thought was important. And that's what really drew me to you, was building something that was sustainable and not burning out as a practitioner, because this is something that I want to do for as long as I can until I retire, and I don't want to burn out within the first 10 years. I definitely struggled with confidence. That was something that I was seeing. You were having some massage therapists that were coming in and saying that they were using you for coaching and for scaling their business, and they just seemed so confident and so like they knew exactly the steps that they needed to take, and that's something that I wanted. And I think I knew how to get there, but you really helped like bring that in for me and ask the right questions to really give me that confidence to be the massage therapist and the business owner that I want to be and that I have becoming. Just starting working with you, I felt like I had a lot more knowledge coming into working with clients, being really confident with like knowing pain patterns. But from the coaching perspective, I feel like I had the information I needed to help build my business, to communicate with clients properly, to automate my systems. It freed up so much of my personal time that I was able to put that effort into growing my business bigger, scaling it so that I could hire another massage therapist and not be worried about managing my own schedule, but then managing another person's schedule. And that was my main goal with starting my business, was to eventually build on to have more therapists. And I feel like working with you has really helped bring that to fruition. I feel like without working with you, I would not have been able to have the mental capacity to manage, not only just manage my schedule, but someone else's or multiple people's schedule, and really figuring out how to automate everything and bring everything together so that I could build my business and sustain the growth that my business has been growing to. And I've never had a coach or a mentor who really broke down step by step by step of the how to put that into play. It's always like, oh, build an email list. But you really broke down, okay, this is how you build the email list. These are the kinds of emails that you send out. This is when you send them out. This is how you can set it up. You just like broke it down so well that it just made it so easy to follow your direction. It was just really easy to understand, and you were really easy to communicate with when it came to like having questions about that too. We really dove deep in one of those sessions, and that really opened up just so much of the things I was internally struggling with myself that I was reflecting into my business, where I wasn't asking for my worth, where I wasn't charging enough because I was scared of other people, how they were going to perceive me as greedy or as asking for too much. And I just felt so comfortable in that deep dive with you, and you just made it so easy. And it wasn't, I think we talked about this earlier, it wasn't like you were telling me what to do, but you were really asking me the questions that I needed to ask myself to get past these hurdles. It just made such a huge difference, not only in my personal life, but with implementing things into my business. I think that the community that you have built is so supportive, and you really make it so it is a safe place for all massage therapists to ask questions, even when it doesn't feel like it's the smartest question, or like we can be vulnerable in the community and know that we're not going to be bullied or we're not going to be made fun of for asking something. And you always come in with like the information, and you provide so much detail, and that's something that I really appreciate. And it's funny too, because sometimes it's like I know what I need to do, but getting there or getting over those hurdles on figuring out how to get there is like what stops me, right? Like I know I need to be advertising and doing all of these things and asking for more money if I want, or doing whatever, making it more sustainable for myself. But how do I get past the hurdles that are blocking me from seeing that finish line? I feel like every moment that I have had with you, whether it's one-on-one or in a group of coaching, you really do make people feel seen. You listen to them, you reflect back to them what they're telling you, and you give stories about what you've been through, but you don't make it about you. You make it about the other person, and you make it relatable, but to an extent of how it's going to help them. Going back to like that really personal deep dive, that was like one of the things that really made me realize like you were the coach for me, just because I feel like I can really relate to you because we're kind of the same. I have kind of like that sarcastic, like swearing type of humor, and you do too. So I feel like that's what really drew me to you to begin with. And I just feel like I can open up to you. And no matter what the setting is, I feel like I can always trust you, and that you will always do what's right for your clients, and not necessarily like coming from like a salesy point of view. You're doing like the moral and right thing. And ethically, I feel like that is hard to find sometimes in this like coaching world. You just have such like a personal touch, and you really spend time with everyone. And I think that that really sets you apart. And it's hard to like in this industry to trust people. It's sometimes looked at as like competitive, and you just really make it that like we're all in this together. And that's the mindset that I also have in this industry. Like not one person massages the same, not one person is going to set their business up the same. We're all working with different people, and there's so many people to go around. And I just love that that's the mindset that you have. And it's not this like cutthroat spa industry type mindset too. Just do it because it's definitely worth it. And that you are so intuitive, and you're so personal, and you just have such a good vibe that even if they just try one session with you, that they're going to love it. You really have it all, and you have so much knowledge about the industry, and you've actually done the thing, right? Like you actually had a sustainable practice. And there's not many coaches who can say that in this industry that have actually been in the massage industry. So I would tell any massage therapist or body worker to just do it.
What I love most about Allie's story is how honest it is. Growth isn't always linear, but with support, you don't have to do it alone. If you're feeling like you're spinning your wheels trying to rebuild something, just come join us. Let's see what these systems can do for you. Now I want to introduce you to Randy. Randy was never short on clients. In fact, she had more demand than she could keep up with. And on the outside, that might sound like the dream, but behind the scenes, things felt really chaotic for her. She was trying to be generous, sharing her overflow with other practitioners, hoping to support their growth too. But instead of collaboration, she found herself being taken advantage of over and over again. And it wasn't because she didn't care, it's because she did deeply. She was trying to lead without the boundaries and structure to support her leadership, and it was costing her peace. When Randy came into the Sustainable Bodyworker membership, she was ready for things to feel different. We started by reconnecting her to her core values, not just what she did, but why she did it. We rebuilt her systems, yes, but we also worked through some really personal moments where she got to explore what she wanted her practice to feel like, not what anyone else told her it should look like. And spoiler, not many of us are given permission for that, truly. She started to see her role as a leader differently and more confidently. She began to hold firmer boundaries, not out of defensiveness, but from a place of alignment. She no longer felt like she had to rescue everyone. And when that shift happened, everything opened up for her. She created her first online course. She stepped into a teaching role she never thought she'd feel ready for, and even started exploring new modalities like yoga teacher training that brought her back into a deep connection with the work that she loves. She didn't just put out the fires anymore, she rebuilt the fire from within. So here she is in her own words.
So I think I was just kind of like winging it. I didn't really have like a good solid business plan. My prices were really low and I had a really toxic business partner. Things just really weren't going well. They weren't where I wanted them to be, but I just didn't know like how to change it or even that I had permission that I could change it. I was just really in huge people pleaser mode and I wasn't really taking care of my business. I just kind of was letting people tell me like what to do. Definitely the accountability, the confidence, and the just the backup that I had from you, like just the confidence that I was making the right decisions, that I was valid in wanting to change things, and just the permission that I could do it and just talking through it. I feel like a lot of people in my life were like, oh, you can't do that. And then I talk to you and you're like, oh, yeah, absolutely, you're going to do that. And you need to do that. You encouraged me to write a letter and have it all in writing and to meet with my business partner and just rip off the band-aid and I did it and it was really nice to know that you were there and that I could reach back with you and that if I had any questions or doubts or any gaslighting or things like that came up, just to have your support was really really incredible. And I truly believe that I might still be in business with her today 5 years later if I didn't have your support. So that was, I mean, that was just that alone was like majorly life changing. That needed to happen so bad. My prices definitely were way too low. I think at that point I was about $65 an hour, and I just changed my prices just last week to $150 an hour. And I had one person, a new client, already schedule that for September because I am, incredibly booked out about 3 months. And so, yeah, so that's really exciting. And also, I got my course, lymphatic drainage going. That was really cool and exciting. Also, I think the biggest thing that I really feel like I'm just like a genius at because of you is social media marketing. I feel so confident in helping my coworkers get their books filled and they pay me a commission and so I get more passive income off of that. I know how to get new clients. I know how to do that. I know how to market on social media. I think the general Facebook groups are really lovely. I think just having that sounding board is really, really great. And I have definitely connected with so many great mentors through those groups. I think sometimes you get a little bit like stuck in a rut maybe or repetitive information in those groups. And then I think once you gotten so much information from those groups, you're ready for like the next level and you're ready to like up your game and get more of a targeted sounding board that kind of has more aligned values. And that's what I feel like I gained from your group. Definitely just so much more targeted support. I feel like the 3 days to your dream practice was like life changing for me for sure. Like I felt, well, I remember just the meditation alone. I remember it gives me chills actually. I was really wanted to do this medical based thing and I felt really like good at my skills at that. And I thought that would be like the most meaningful, like financially. And so I was like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to change it, and I was just like so ready. But then whenever we were doing like the meditation and then the manifesting, I was like, that's not it. That's not what aligns with my values. And that's not what is going to bring me joy. So, yeah, I'm actually going to look at this church that I want to like remodel into this spa. And I think it's just going to be so life changing and so meaningful and so wonderful and so like what I used to would call like a pie in the sky dream, like never going to happen. And I just feel like that manifesting piece has just really stuck with me. What I feel like with you, with like coaching and your courses, I feel like they're so value packed and so life changing that I feel like I can get like a tidbit of information from you and I can just sit with that for so long and just keep getting just the jewels out of that for so long. Whereas I feel like other people that I've coached or done therapy with, I'm like, okay, that was good for like an hour. Like, I feel like it's long lasting, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it's so meaningful and long lasting that, I mean, how long ago was that? Okay, I'm still thinking about it. Like it as if it was 6 months ago. I just think that that's really cool. Just profound is what I would say. Just really profound. I would just say just do it. Like just do it. Like you don't have anything to lose. You're not going to be disappointed. And not as like a sales pitch, like either because obviously like I'm not um benefiting, but I have benefited. And so I would just say just do it. I think you're going to be so impressed. Like I said back to the beginning of the conversation, what I thought I was going into, like I had no idea. So I just don't even think there's a way to prepare you or a way to explain what you're going to get. Just do it and you're going to get so much. Before being a part of this community, I just was so confined to like my small town, my small rural thinking, the mindset. I didn't have that expanded mindset. There's just, a few massage therapists here, and it's just like, oh, we're not big enough, we're not good enough, we're not whatever enough, we don't have the money, whatever. And so now I can have a bigger mindset and a bigger community that you're like, no, this is possible, especially in a small town. Like you can do this. Like nobody else is doing this in your town. This is how I did it, and you should do it. It's just so inspiring. I have a lot more passive income and I just have so much more resources, and even the possibility of, as my body ages and as I go less hands-on hours, I just have a lot of hopes and dreams for the future of what else that I could do, and maybe even like coaching other people. I just feel really taken care of and deeply grateful that I connected with you. And I tell people all the time, like, just get in with Gretchen. It's going to change your life. Like, so thank you so much.
So it's not about fixing your business, it's about transforming it to reflect the leader you actually are. And that's the kind of support that this membership was built for. Now, let's talk about Shelby, who did so much inside her business while working with me. She came to me with years of experience, countless trainings under her belt, and a heart that deeply cared about helping people. But despite all of that, she still found herself stuck in a box, kind of seen as just a massage therapist. And like so many gifted practitioners, she knew that she had more to offer. She was ready to specialize, to stand out, and to be known for the transformation she created. But she didn't really know how to connect all the dots in a way that felt aligned, powerful, and true to her. She didn't even really have permission to know that that was something that she could do for her. But inside the Sustainable Bodyworker, we worked through all of that together. Specifically through my bigger impact framework, Shelby was able to piece together all the parts of her brilliance and craft a high-level transformation that felt undeniably hers. It wasn't about abandoning any part of what she loved. It was about weaving it all together in a way that made sense to her clients and lit her up from the inside. And once all of that clicked, her business began to expand in ways she hadn't thought possible. Even I didn't even see it coming. She started entertaining the idea of hiring another practitioner, but even more powerfully, she stepped into a coaching role herself. Shelby began to own her expertise. She moved from who am I to lead to someone who guides others with clarity and confidence. That shift wasn't just about business growth. It was a transformation in identity, an impossibility, in purpose. So here's Shelby sharing what that journey felt like in her own words.
Hey everybody, my name is Shelby Mendoza, and I'm just here to shed a little light, share some love for Gretchen, just tell you how much this program has changed my practice. I was one of her first students for Bigger Impact. It was amazing. I've done 2 rounds of it. What it really did for my practice was be sustainable income. How Gretchen teaches us how to price our sessions based not just on what we're worth, but what our offer is huge. Completely changed my practice.
This is what happens when you stop waiting for someone to give you permission. You become the next version of yourself and you bring others along for the ride. Now, Lydia, her story is one that so many of you will relate to. She had done all of the right things, trained in multiple modalities, invested in her growth, poured her heart into her work. But every time she sought business advice, she was told the same thing: niche down, cut this, hide that, be more palatable, be more clear, be more marketable. But every time Lydia tried to shrink herself to fit those boxes, something in her resisted, because deep down, she knew the full range of what she offered wasn't a liability, it was a gift. And not just for her clients, but for herself too. When we started working together inside the Sustainable Bodyworker, and particularly in our Bigger Impact process, we threw out the idea that she had to pick just one thing. Instead, we got really super curious about how all of it fit together, how each tool, each training, each unique piece of her story contributed to a richer client experience. And what unfolded was really beautiful. Lydia built an offer that didn't just make sense on paper, it lit her up. Her clients began experiencing much more profound results, and she finally stopped questioning whether she was doing it right. She was doing it her way, and it was working. This is what happens when you stop trying to squeeze your magic into someone else's formula, and instead design your business around what brings you alive. So here's Lydia in her own words.
We don't have to flop around and try to figure things out on our own and piecemeal things together, hoping that something works, because a lot of times that's what we're doing already. Why not come out of the gate running and ready with guidance so that I don't have to try to get overwhelmed with all the things that I want to do? That way I could be even more successful than I would have just trying to figure things out on my own. Honestly, your belief in me, and it makes me emotional. Your belief in me that I can do this, that I can be successful, that I can achieve the things that I want, no matter how big or how small. It was your belief that I could do it.
You make me cry now.
And you're like the first person to like say, girl, you got so much, but this is awesome. Instead of saying, you got a lot and you need to pick what you're gonna do. So it was like I was always trying to rack my brain, like, well, what do I pick? And well, then which avenue do I go in? You were the first person to ever be like, let's do this. Like, you have so much. There's so much that you can do and so many avenues that you can take. And you don't have to choose which part of yourself gets to shine and gets to show up. All of you gets to show up. And I was like, I like that. Now, because I feel so rock solid in my boundaries and in my time, but being able to communicate that to clients and to be able to retain the right clients and recruit the right clients, it's not even a second thought. I don't have to feel guilty anymore when I'm like, you have to pay me because you missed your time. Like, it's no longer painful. And, you know, if people want to see themselves out of my business, that's how I see it now. It's like, well, you are making room for somebody else who values my time, my skill set, all of that. Having those strong boundaries in business around my time, around my pricing. I just increased my pricing and that's scary. But being solid in that, and I feel like that legitimizes our profession even more. Having those boundaries in business and standing firm in that oh my gosh, is huge. You're available to us. You're there to provide feedback, but also it's like, here's some feedback, but let's ask them some more clarifying questions. Like, have you thought about X, Y, and Z? Or tell me more about da 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 da. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this, and this. You're like, okay, well, then this sounds like it would be perfect. And, so it's like you're available to us for that feedback. You're available to us for the coaching. You're available to us, like when we share our wins, like you're our biggest cheerleader. You just use that to empower us. Just having somebody who is available for me as a person and me as a business owner. You showing up for everybody else in the group with the same level of enthusiasm. That's a lot of work on your part. And I so appreciate the way that you show up for us. What I was looking for not only was that cheerleader, but that guidance in business, finding other business owners who align with you and what they're working on and what they see is huge, because not everybody is running the same race. Not every therapist is wanting to do the same thing. For me, it was just like, gosh, am I ever going to meet other therapists who kind of want what I want and see what I see for the profession, for business? Like, I don't want to be like just the massage therapist, but I want to be like seen as a serious entrepreneur as well. It can feel very lonely when you feel like you're the only person who kind of wants, in your mind, to step things up. I want more than what is available to me right now. So where are my other people? Like, it's just really exciting when people are working on things and the floodgates open and they have these big aha moments, and it's like, oh, I love this energy. Like, let's do this. I have definitely found that in the group where other people are working on their big things. That hypes me up, being around the fire, so to speak. What I would say for somebody who was thinking about working with you, one, obviously just do it. But two, if you're on the fence, I would say just have a conversation with Gretchen. Like, just talk to her and be honest about what you see. If you need somebody to help walk with you, you need to work with Gretchen. You show up and you say, how can I support you? And that is huge. You don't give us a list of 10 things to do. You're like, the one thing between now and the next call, that has been huge, because I need that one thing at a time. We can get carried away with the whole staircase, and looking at the whole staircase keeps us from accomplishing so much in our lives, because we want to be here, but we're here. And we're like, but I just want to get here. How do I shorten this? You work with Gretchen. That's how you shorten. And being in the group setting, which I vibe off of, hearing how you support other people, because then that's like, oh yeah, that's really good. I meant to ask that, or I was thinking that, or, oh, how do I then apply that to my business? Or you're just vibing off the high energy that's in the group there, which is really great. So it's like hearing other people get coached also helps, because sometimes I'm like, I'm just here to celebrate a win and I'll listen. And then you're coaching somebody else. I'm like, oh, dang, that's good. Oh, that book, I need to add that to my list. I really like the group atmosphere the most, and the group coaching. Instead of getting one expert, which you are, we're getting support from everybody else, which is amazing. You show up for us like it's one-on-one. You do. You show up for us like it's one-on-one coaching. And so it's like we kind of get the best of both worlds. So it's like that one-on-one coaching support where you're so available. And then we also get to vibe with the group. And I love that. And that has been really impactful. I'm just incredibly grateful for the opportunity to work with you, to learn from you. You always create the most amazing environments for therapists to connect, and they're safe, fun, exciting environments. And so bigger impact falls in line with that as well, where it's just the most amazing community with the most amazing therapists and people. So I feel so honored to be part of your community and your coaching. So thank you.
This is one of my favorite things to help body workers with, bringing all their modalities together into a cohesive, powerful offer. You do not have to leave parts of yourself behind to grow a sustainable business. And the bigger impact process is included in the biz and coaching level membership tier of the Sustainable Body Worker. So if this is something that you are interested in, I highly recommend checking out what that possibility could look like for you. So finally, we will hear from Jessica. Jessica joined the membership during one of the most difficult seasons of her life, the kind of time where most people would have hit pause, shut down, or walked away from their dreams entirely, but she didn't. Even in the midst of personal hardship, Jessica kept showing up, not with perfection or hustle, but with a steady, quiet commitment to her purpose. She leaned into the support available in this community, not just the systems and coaching, but the emotional safety of being surrounded by people who truly get it. Week by week, step by step, she kept moving forward. And what unfolded from there, to say the least, was pure expansion. Jessica didn't just keep her business alive, she birthed a deeper version of it. One that now includes sound baths, group experiences, and offerings that reflect the full spectrum of who she is and how she loves to support others. She's no longer just getting by, she's building something that is healing, whole, and deeply hers. If you've been wondering whether it's possible to grow while navigating hard things, Jessica's story is proof that it is. And here she is in her own words.
I make more money now than I ever have. And I know I can make more. I didn't think that stuff was possible for me. Back then was when my life was actually kind of falling apart in a lot of ways as well. And my business was kind of, I absolutely had no direction. As a massage therapist, our thought process is as long as I'm making enough to get by, I'm cool. And so when I did this program, the practice of the purpose, that was when I was like, okay, like I could actually step up and do something incredible with this. I don't have to just make enough to get by. I've learned so much just from hearing other people. Even if it's not 100% your story, it makes it easier to continue to learn in other ways as well. This stuff is priceless. Truly, it's going to be worth it if you put it into place. I've just really enjoyed watching everyone grow and blossom, and I've seen other people grow and blossom as well, so it's been really fun. There's a reason why we don't grow or change, and there's our personal behavioral traits and being open to learning new things. I've had to bust through some very personal walls to learn how to stick up for myself, learn how to know my value and my worth. That is in any relationship in my life. And the stronger I am, the more I can build a good business where I can let stuff roll off my back and love what I do and love my clients. But then that translates into the quality of my day to day life with my family. I can feel from you your genuineness and wanting to help people. You're not gatekeeping things. You're not over there going, "Ooh, I don't want to tell people these things." You know, you're absolutely wanting everyone to grow and learn, and you're very very witty. You know, so whenever you said like you have really good answers, so like I'll be like, "Yeah, I don't know what to do with this," and you're like, "Why don't you just do this or this or this?" And you just have really good ideas. You have a natural knack for doing that, problem solving. So for me, I feel like the guidance that I've gotten from you personally, the amount of passion and care that you have in putting into other people and helping them succeed is what has really helped me more than anything. And I've heard you talk to other people, so this isn't just like for me. I can say personally, I've always felt like you don't brush over me. I feel like you remember things I tell you, your ability to connect with people. And in my experience, I've always felt like I feel like you're always listening to me. I do feel like I'm all over the place, and I feel like you're able to kind of pick from those things and help me, and I still get off the call going, how did we piece that together and go over there when I was over here? Somehow you make sense of the thoughts that I have that are all over the place. If you want to stay where you're at, then stay where you're at. But if you want to change and grow, asking the hard questions and having someone hold you accountable, is truly priceless. Just try it and see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Having someone by your side and guiding you and giving you like the best, most genuine advice. If you're willing to put in the work, you will make baby steps, but all in the right direction. If you started making a little bit more money because you're kind of afraid to jump so far, then that's better than nothing, right? So if worst case would be baby steps, and then the best case would be, again, you're making the most money you've ever made because you step out of that fear and into something that there's so much security, I think, in what you're doing. I've grown my business from just doing massage to doing like being a cupping specialist, doing Reiki now. I do sound therapy. I have sound healing sessions. I have a bigger space. I'm getting more into this other side of healing, and I feel proud of myself, and to be a part of a group where you can toot your own horn, share your wins, share your losses, root each other on. You can't do that with just anybody. I have some of the best clients that look at me as a professional. They want my opinions, they want my advice, they see me as a professional. And I don't think I ever felt that way until I joined this group. I'm feeling a little emotional now. Like it's seriously like there's a reason why things come into your life. And I think if anybody sees anything like this and it just is triggering this little thing in your mind, there's a reason for it. If anybody sees anything like this and they just feel a little bit of that pull, then you need to do it, because there's a reason why people come into your life when they do. It's to help you move into that next level, and there's a reason why something speaks to you. So for me, it's a big deal to be able to have this conversation with you and share this, because maybe it'll influence someone else and it'll completely change their life like it has mine. There's no price I could put on that, because you really have changed so many things in my life, personally and business wise. So I appreciate you.
We all go through hard seasons, and the question is, do we keep building toward what matters most even when it's hard? Jessica did, and so can you. Now, these stories aren't outliers. This is what happens when body workers are given the tools, the support, and space to grow in a way that actually feels good, where alignment comes first and success is built from the inside out. That's what the Sustainable Body Worker is here to help you do. So if something in these stories resonated, if you feel a flicker of possibility, you owe it to yourself to follow that. Head to the link in the show notes to learn more and see if the membership is the right next step for you. And if you were one of the lucky ones who joined me inside the Sustainable Success Blueprint over the weekend, this is your gentle nudge. Don't forget to check your email and claim your exclusive bonuses before they disappear for good. You can also come hang out with me on Instagram or Facebook. I'm always sharing behind the scenes support, strategy, and the kind of encouragement that keeps you moving forward when things get hard. Thank you so much for listening. And to the brilliant members who shared their voices in today's episode, your courage makes this community what it is. I am endlessly proud of you. I'll see you back here next week. Thanks for listening to the Sustainable Body Worker. If something resonated for you today, grab your free breakthrough session, which includes a custom hypnotherapy track to help you unlock the next level. Grab it now with the link in the show notes. And to hear more, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.